Hey, hi, hello everyone. Welcome back to The Lobby, GameSpot's weekly video game hangout here in San Francisco, California. I'm your host, Mike Mahardy, here as always with reviews editor Peter Brown.
Hey, hi, hello. How's it going?
Rob Hamlery.
What up?
And Callie Plagge.
Hello.
Who's looking haggard from... No, I'm just kidding. Tired, I meant.
Chipper.
No, just kidding. You were saying you're tired from getting raid ready.
I am very tired.
You don't look haggard. I was...
Thanks.
being mean.
You do not at all.
If
We've all...
anyone's haggard at this table, I think we know who it is.
Yeah. We've all been kind of getting ready for Destiny's Leviathan Raid. That is up right now, right?
Yes, it's live. People are already doing it, but we start at 1 so we can all get food.
Yeah, if you're watching this right now live, like Haley said, 1 p.m. Pacific, we're going to start doing the 6-person raid with people here in the GameSpot clan. Are you going to be partaking, Pete Churro?
Nope.
No?
But I did just hit level 20 today.
Hey! Yeah?
I think I'm at 212.
Nice.
Nice.
What's your power level? Rubbin?
I could pull up my app, but I'm not going to do that. My cool Destiny app. But I think it's like
Trying to
one.
plug
make
the
it?
Destiny app?
It's actually really
The Destiny
awesome.
app rules.
It's just a notebook with things written in it?
It's super neat. Like,
It's so nice.
I mean, I feel like there is now no downtime for that game where, like, during a loading screen or something like that, you can just be changing your loadouts, like, you know, dismantling and stuff like that, infusing.
I don't think
you
you
can
can
dismantle?
You can't dismantle on the app.
Oh,
Dreams
that'd be
crushed.
awesome.
I knew that.
I used the Diablo 3 app a lot back in the day.
Yeah.
But sorry to say it, but I am level 173.
270.
273. Otherwise
That's
you're
what I
gonna
meant.
get smoked.
273.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm like
Killing it.
I'm like 274, and I have like 2 or 3 engrams to get, so I'll probably get bumped up a little bit.
Yeah, Justin Haywald yesterday was like, yeah, raid ready is 180. I'm like, I guess I'm raid ready then after being at level 18.
But nope.
But he was wrong.
He is wrong.
It's 270, right?
It's the recommended if you go to the director and go on to the raid, it says 270 recommended. But they tweeted out, I think Lou Smith tweeted out, it's 260 to 280, which means like it starts out being more 260 with regard to the enemies, and then it scales as you go.
Yeah, so that...
But I wouldn't recommend going in at 260. That sounds like a bad time.
What do we know about Leviathan Raid? Much at all? Or have they said what it's about?
I'm going in totally blind. I'm sure people on the internet already know things about it since streamers are doing it now. But I know that I love sea monsters, and I'm very excited.
Is that what it is?
Well,
Leviathan?
Justin saw like a sea monster in the distance.
Yeah, I saw some images on Titan.
Oh,
like if you do a story beat, it like appears briefly. I didn't see it, but it appears briefly in the background and in the waves.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Titan's the one where you're on like the oiling or like the platforms in the water, like Camino-ish. Cool. As always, we have a giveaway. I'll get to that later today. I'll announce at the end of the show. Probably gonna go till about noon today, just so you people can fuel up before the raid. Yeah, like I said, Leviathan, that is up. We're streaming it at 1 p.m. here at GameSpot on
We're not
GameSpot.
streaming it.
We're not streaming it. Yeah, I was gonna catch you.
You're not streaming the raid?
No.
You're just playing
We
the
are
raid.
going to have VODs going up and like tips for people who want to know how to do the raid.
Oh.
So, yeah, we'll be updating those as we go through it.
Right.
We're not streaming it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We figured
It's a lot to stream.
It's a lot to stream, but we figured like if we're gonna have a go at it, because I mean they take hours and hours, right?
Yeah.
Like we
Like
would
6-ish, I would say.
6 hours.
They can. If you
It
figure
can.
out.
It can
I mean,
take
there's a
some
lot of like
time.
puzzle solving and everything, and like how do you shoot this boss? But
That's pretty neat.
I don't. You have a pretty good team.
But yeah, the plan is on site. You can check it out for GameSpot.com, and we'll have like an article that we'll be continually updating.
Yeah. So we'll have like the videos you can watch us go through it. But
Cool.
yeah.
We will get more to late game stuff, but I do want to talk about news stuff. PS4 Pro still having problems with Destiny. It apparently just crashes every.
Wait,
few
still?
minutes.
Every
Yeah.
single day that I play in the office, I get a crash. This morning, I crashed like 4 times. 3 times in a row was on Nessus when I tried to aim down sights. It would happen the
Really?
first time. Yeah,
That's weird.
Specifically that. I'm not saying that's the issue across the board, but for me today, that was the case.
Right.
And it's still happening, and the response is basically like, we really appreciate your patience. We're looking into it. That's kind of, that sucks.
Once we finish the raid.
It'd be really cool if they could at least like say, okay, we've maybe narrowed it down to this, just to show everyone that like, look, we are really pursuing this. We are making progress. Lip service means nothing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because I think it was as of yesterday. I looked it up and people are still like, yeah, there's no progress really.
Just ask me, man. I'll tell you.
It's
Yeah.
not everyone apparently, but Jean-Luc is the other person I know in our office who had to bring one of our PS4s home because he's got one PS4 Pro
and
at home.
back and home and back. Yeah,
like
incarnate.
He just couldn't handle it. I mean, that's a game breaker. You said it like
It just hard crashes and sends you back to the PlayStation dashboard, and you gotta bring it back.
And there is nothing worse than like playing a game, being on the edge of your seat. Like, is it going to crash here? Is it going to do that? Like,
Oh, yeah, and
you can't play like that.
If it's not like the moments I described earlier, like half the time it's been happening at the end of like a public event or something.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the loot's in sight. I can see that the crate drop. Oh shit.
I am really proud that you got to level 20 and 212 through all of that.
Well,
I mean, I know you've been playing it
playing at
home
home
too. But
yeah, I played a little bit in the office. I did borrow a PS4 one day, like to get to 8 or something. So I got at least that far. Mostly it's been at home. Like yesterday at home for like 5 hours, it got me from like 130 up to like, I don't know, 210 or something like that.
Damn.
So I put in a lot of time yesterday.
Pro Evolution Soccer 18 is out as of yesterday.
It is. We have a feature up from Oscar Deus. Oscar Deus. And, so his review is coming soon. We're waiting for the servers to go live so he can actually like play online and stuff, because that's pretty important. He does have a feature up regarding the sort of, what PES is like compared to FIFA, and how it really breaks down to the idea that, well, if PES doesn't have licensed teams, do football fans really want to play it?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, maybe, because the action on the field is really good. But there's always that thing in the back of your mind, like, this isn't actually Man United I'm playing. This isn't actually Barcelona, whatever.
It's so green.
Yeah, FIFA's been getting like a little bit more clunky-ish. Like apparently people are saying it's like by the year it's getting a little more like harder to control.
People are, yeah, I think the consensus is, and I'm speaking as an outsider looking in, that it's trying to assume more realistic controls, but that's almost the difference between a golf game having the 3-button press, scenario, or using the analog stick swing. And I think it comes down to what you prefer.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, look forward to Oscar's review in the coming days. He'll also be reviewing FIFA. So
Cool.
Damn.
We'll see that.
Nintendo announced finally that they're extending what used to be a limited run of the SNES Classic. They're extending it into next year in 2018. So if you don't get it by December, you still have a chance. I mean, that's kind of being reductive because I don't know when they're actually going to be selling them. Aren't they going on sale soon again, hopefully? Or are they all out?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
What about the NES Classic, man? That's the big news.
And then,
That's the
next
really big
summer,
news.
right? In 2018, they're bringing back the NES Classic.
That means a lot, because that was the thing that was already discontinued.
Yeah.
So they're bringing that back. We don't even have the Super Nintendo yet, so I'm ready for them to change their plans. But the NES Classic, everyone thought it was gone. Everyone was like, who knows why Nintendo did this? Well, they've sort of quashed that question now, squashed it.
We've been talking about this a lot lately between Metroid, which the review is up. We're going to get to that. Between Metroid, with Breath of the Wild, with Mario plus Rabbids, all this third-party support that Nintendo has. You got Skyrim coming later in the year, and then, like I said, Ubisoft and them partnering for Rabbids.
Yeah.
Nintendo also just seems to be listening to fans, and I think the SNES Classic and NES Classic returning are kind of a good indicator of that, but also just the fact that, we've got a 2D Metroid back finally with Mercury's team and Nintendo. We've got a lot of stuff coming back. We got, like a Zelda game, got Metroid Prime 4 on the horizon, looking forward to. We talked about it last episode, but this is just like further proof of that, I feel like. Like Nintendo's done being weird and sheltered about a lot of things.
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
But what about like the people who spent a bunch of money to get like an NES Classic on like I would be so mad if I spent a bunch of money on an NES Classic and then they were like just getting their back
on eBay.
Yeah.
The people who are spending that kind of money in those things are collectors.
That's true.
Speaking as someone from that community, I can tell you that it's our own fault. It's no one's fault but our own that we're willing to do that. Like I bought the ThinkGeek bundle or whatever. So I paid like $140 for a bunch of crap-ish stuff and the system. I don't feel too bad. I'm just really happy Nintendo's bringing it back.
What's in the bundle? Like a carrying case?
No, actually, so it's like a book that has like excerpts from the old Nintendo Power Strategy guides for the Nintendo games that are on the Classic. There's a lamp that's like the Mario ? Block that like lights up. That's fine. There's a really basic puzzle, but those have long been sold out, and you should just now buy it for whatever price it's going to sell for. $60, I think, when it comes back.
The NES Classic is going to be $60?
Yeah, it's going to be the
SNES
same price it was.
SNES will still be
$80. Yeah,
Cool.
Nintendo Power was so cool.
It was a wonderful magazine.
Were you the one? No, didn't we find a bunch of issues when we were cleaning out the third floor here at GameSpot before we moved down?
Well, I've got a bunch of issues of a few different magazines, not necessarily Nintendo Power. It's like Electronic Game Monthly, EGM2, Computer Gaming, something. I don't know. There's some weird ones that I didn't read, but they're filled with interesting stuff. Like, will the Virtual Boy take over video games? No.
That'd be awesome.
I remember my dad rented the Virtual Boy. That
From Blockbuster. That was like where everyone got exposed to it.
He was like, "Come on, let's check this out." And he set this thing up on a table.
Yep.
It's like a probe droid.
It's cool.
I bought one off a dude on Craigslist a couple years ago, and I've got one, and it's cool to have. It's really weird, but when I got it, it was almost broken, and I was looking up ways to fix it, and people like dismantle it and put pieces in the oven to like bake the screen to fix it. Luckily, I didn't have to do that.
Didn't that thing like give people really bad headaches back in the day?
That was always what people said. I never met anyone who really.
I never met anyone who had a Virtual Boy before right now.
I only knew one person who did.
Same here.
I killed him. The guy in Craigslist.
I'm gonna kill this guy for his Virtual
Damn,
Boy.
I had it in Animal Crossing.
You had an Animal Crossing?
No, you can get the Virtual Boy.
In
Never
Animal
mind,
Crossing.
yeah.
Oh.
I noticed your Destiny necklace before, by the way. People were commenting on it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
My mom got it for me.
Kathy. Bring her
Here
name
we
into this.
go.
Oh,
there's
freaking World of Worlds right here.
Sorry, your mom got you the Destiny necklace.
when
before I
Taken
cut you
King
off.
came out. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was a cool ad.
Cool. Have you seen the Destiny fidget spinners?
No.
It seemed like it already looks like a
I
fidget
know. I was
spinner.
gonna say
It
it's
does
perfect.
kind of look like a fidget spinner. Yeah.
Callie, you saw it?
I did.
Me and P were gonna kind of try to see it soon, and Rob, you're like
Never gonna see it.
timidly. I do not have time this week, unfortunately, but let's run through it quick. I feel like a lot of people are saying they like it.
I liked it a lot. It's definitely like a good mix, like the book, a good mix of like the coming of age Goonies kind of feel, summertime kids in small town America with the horror bits.
Just like my childhood.
I didn't particularly like what they did with the character of Beverly. I feel like
She's like the one girl, right?
Bev.
I never like anything where there's like the one girl, because as a kid that put a lot of pressure on me to like embody everything that the one girl needed to be in an ensemble. And so like I just get irritated with that trope in general, but that wasn't really my problem. It was more like in the book you get her perspective on the romance, you get more of her personal perspective on things, and you don't get that as much. And I understand why they have to do that in a film, because they already do a fantastic job of characterizing this cast. So I can't really fault them for making that choice. But it was horrifying. I liked it a lot. I had a lot of fun watching it. And also they didn't include the orgy scene, if you're afraid of that. And they didn't include the scene in the woods with the bullies, if you know what that is about.
The bully stuff was more terrifying in like the book than it was.
Yeah, the bullies are so messed up. They are so messed up.
Even in this version too?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh gosh. Oh my God. I want to see it again, actually, but I really liked it.
I feel like they struck gold with like the whole 80s nostalgia thing. They purposely moved because presumably the second movie will be the adult, right?
Yes.
And then in the book and the 91 TV series, it was kids were in the 60s, and then when they're adults, it was the 80s. Now they've moved that up, so the kids they're kids in the 80s, and I feel like they're trying to capitalize on the 80s nostalgia, the Stranger Things fad, and it sounds like it's working well.
It works on me because I have great nostalgia for a time I wasn't alive, but I love the 80s a lot, and so I that works really well for me. But there's also this like just incredible like 2-second scene featuring New Kids on the Block that like I can't explain in words, but it's so good. It's like a masterpiece of a shitpost just in the movie, just in the middle of the movie.
Isn't like Nightmare on Elm Street 6 on the marquee over a theater at one point?
Yes, and like Lethal Weapon 4 or 3 or something.
Well, that exists.
Yeah.
If you watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I want to go see that at some point. I don't know if I'll have time this week, but
I liked it.
I have the book on my shelf still. It's like that. What is it? 1,500 pages or something? It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Have you read it?
Exactly. No.
Have you read The Stand? Because that one is
that
an
one's big too.
undertaking. Yeah.
That miniseries was also kind of good. Gary Sinise.
I like that miniseries.
Yeah, it was weird. They get that gets really weird too later on, like with all the like it's like Dark Tower-ish.
Yeah.
It's like the real world, but also not really.
kind
It's
of
fantasy, dark fantasy world.
Stephen King simultaneously makes me really want to go to Maine and also never ever go to Maine.
Yeah. Like what was
I'm
the?
like afraid of Maine.
Is it Storm of the Century? I get that and Perfect Storm mixed up. Which one is the George Clooney fisherman one? Perfect Storm. Storm of the Century is the one set in Maine where like people come to grab kids every once in a while, kind of like it.
Yeah.
He's got a fascination with kidnapping.
He also just loves where he lives, which is Maine.
Yeah.
Maine's pretty cool.
It's gorgeous.
It's pretty cool.
Come to Maine.
Also, did you see he was being really salty on Twitter? He's like, "Oh, if you guys are waiting for part 2 of it, just read the book. And I was like, yikes.
Yeah, he doesn't have a good history with good directors messing with his stuff.
He seemed really, really bitter.
Yeah. And then also last news bit, which I guess LA Noire is coming to Switch. They announced this last week, kind of like right after the lobby ended, and we saw that they were gonna like bring that to the Switch. Rockstar's porting that, which like Rob, you said you never played it, so this might be.
I'm cool with it. Yeah.
I never finished it, so
Okay.
I'm actually I might as well.
I like the game a lot, despite its many frustrations. But I'm imagining with the Switch, they're going to be kind of implementing when you're actually doing the detective scenes. Maybe they'll be implementing motion stuff.
What's the? Give me like the elevator pitch for why this is good. I don't know much
LA
about this
Noire?
game.
Yeah, it's a weird pick for me. I feel like it's.
Oh, I mean the game in general, not necessarily why.
Oh, have you played
this
it?
got picked. No. But why is LA Noire a game
I have no clue.
interesting at all?
I don't know. The game was interesting at the time because of the actual.
That's what I'm asking. Why is it?
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Yeah, I don't know. Just like the actual being able to piece together information from conversations, it actually made you feel kind of like an actual detective. At the time, that facial animation was pretty.
Oh,
novel.
I remember everyone was like, the faces,
Yeah, it was like
you can
seeing-
see him lying. Whoa.
Yeah. There's a lot of times where you can see behind the scenes, and you're like, oh, it's a game, so this makes sense. But you wouldn't really do that if you're actually questioning a real person. But the kind of uncanny valley stuff of that stuff, uncanny valley, it was funny because like when you watch Mad Men, you see Kenny Cosgrove, but to me, I was like, oh shit, it's the dude from LA Noire. And then like Dan Reichert from Giant Bomb's in that game. You can run him over or anything.
What?
Yeah, when they did a cover trip for the game at Game Informer, they're like, oh, we could put you into this game, and he's this reporter that you can just like deck if you want to. Yeah. But no, there are some frustrations with this game as far as certain clues not lining up the way you think they would logically, or vice versa, being like, how would I put this together? But you kind of figure it out through the game mechanics, not necessarily how you would logically or intuitively.
They're all lying. Every
sure.
one of them, I can tell.
But I don't know why. It's really cool that Nintendo and Rockstar are working together.
Dude, he's an artist. Look at that sketch he did.
Oh, they're really good. He is a jack of all trades.
Quit your day job.
Seriously.
I remember my little brother was so into this game, and I was too busy to finish it. What?
She just had the shittiest look on her face.
She like said something and she just had this shit-eating grin that was just like, all right.
Yeah, well-
Lucille from Arrested Development.
Yeah,
I mean,
sorry to cut you off.
I just remember always wanting to play it because it seems like the kind of thing I would really want to play, and I didn't have time when it came out. So, but that's not like a general. It's good. It's on the Switch. That's just I'm happy because I have an excuse to play it again, I guess.
These last two people they just showed in those sketches were also in Mad Men. Like the entire cast of Mad Men is in this game.
It's because they could prove they wore a suit well.
Yeah.
But I do think it's cool that they're partnering with Rockstar. I mean, it's just, we talked about this last week. Having outside support for the Switch is so important, and that's something that Nintendo really needs. And that is cool. I don't know. If this is a test case game, that's fine.
Well, it was 2013, like the same summer when Bethesda, Ubisoft, and EA all said like we're pretty much not going to support the Switch or as little as possible from now on. And then you have Ubisoft made Mario plus Rabbids, Rockstar is doing this. Bethesda has Skyrim coming up. I can't think of anything EA related, but I don't know. It's just nice to see.
Sports
Oh
games.
yeah, FIFA.
We
Yeah,
got
true.
WWE 18 coming as well.
And then
That's soon,
NBA
right?
2K18 is like
I
full.
think the Switch version is December.
It has all the features, unlike FIFA.
I'll play Skyrim on the Switch.
I
Just laying in bed.
absolutely will. I played it at PAX, and I was just like having a fantastic time killing stuff again, but like really up close to my face. And the amiibo thing. I don't think I mentioned this last week. I tried using the amiibo when I was playing it, and we got footage of it, but we got like a total shit drop, and we didn't get anything interesting.
You didn't get that like
It
weird Link outfit.
It works the same way it does in Zelda, where you could get like a really rare item, or you just get like a bunch of food or whatever. So I got like iron boots, and I'm like, cool, I can go smith those myself. Whatever.
It's for nothing.
Yeah.
What other I guess start with last gen games, because LA Noire was a few years into the 360 PS3 life cycle. Do you have any other games, Callie, that you would like to see from that era come to the Switch?
I mean, I think I'm a little bit of a weird case because that was a time period where I'm still catching up on some of those games. I was really focused on school at that time. So, I mean, like, look how that worked out. But there's a lot of games I would love to have an excuse to revisit, and like games I want to catch up on. So, I can't think of one off the top of my head. I mean, that is one that I really wanted to play. I haven't played Red Dead. I would love to have Red Dead.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty sick.
That was another one that like everybody in my fucking school was talking about. Oh, excuse me.
Especially getting ready for the second game.
Playing a lot of Destiny and swearing a lot.
No, I don't care. What about like? Did you play the Arkham games?
No, I tried them. Don't like them.
Really?
Not for me.
Did you play the Arkham trilogy?
No, I didn't really dive into that. So.
Really?
Damn,
no, nobody?
This panel.
Man,
Yeah,
the Arkham trilogy I think would be great. I think the first thing that kind of sparked that idea was the actual scanning the environments and detective stuff. It's very vanilla compared to LA Noire or something like that, but I think those games work well. They were good looking in terms of like their stylistic direction, but they weren't like, I don't think they'd be exceptionally tasking on the Switch.
It's all about
taxing. Sorry, I say tasking. I'm tired too.
It's all about scaling that stuff.
Yeah, I think those work out well. I like the first two. The first one's my favorite, Arkham Asylum. I think that's a really good like 3D action Metroidvania-ish game.
Did you play the 3DS Arkham game that actually was trying to be a Metroidvania?
No.
It did this really annoying thing
What?
where you had a 2D map that looked like any other map.
Yeah.
Like in a Metroidvania. But the game would let you go in the Z direction. Like, so there were rooms that were behind other rooms, but it wouldn't be reflected on the map. So you would not actually, the map was kind of useless.
Yeah.
It would give you like half of the info you needed, and that was all you could get out of it.
It's disgusting.
It was a really frustrating game. It was kind of interesting, but
I didn't play that.
frustrating.
There's Wii U games I'd love to see on Switch.
Oh,
like
yeah, which
Captain
ones?
Toad.
Oh, yeah,
I
absolutely.
love Captain
Yeah.
Toad. It's so precious.
I never played that. Can't you not jump? Isn't that one of its
You
like
can't
conceits?
jump.
Right.
And he waddles around. I love him so much.
It's a great little game. I think everyone's been asking for that one. You know, it would make perfect sense on Switch as well because it's all these little bite-sized little challenges.
Yeah.
And it's a great little puzzle game. There's not really many puzzle games on
Yeah.
Switch. I wanted to mention Dead Space. You had that on the list.
I was about to say that.
You changed it on the run show to Dad Space,
I changed.
and I know that was on purpose.
I changed all
What's
of
Dad
those.
Space? Dad is just Pete. He
No,
changed
I was-
everything on Run a Show. Art Ham
like a cool
trilogy,
game.
Dad Space, Ukami, Miss Effect. Sorry.
Miss Effect.
Yeah, Dead Space. My favorite.
Stop
games
hitting that target.
My favorite game to come out of last generation for sure.
Yeah, I like super impressive start for that IP. I mean, before it even came out, I think everyone kind of knew like, holy shit, like this is sci-fi horror that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
It left a pretty good impression on me. At least the first two did. I didn't quite like the third necessarily, but that series is gone effectively. Like where it at?
Yeah.
To get a chance to play that again.
That was amazing that EA in the first place was like gave Visceral the green light because when it was something totally different, and then when Resident Evil 4 released, they like revamped a bunch of the stuff they were doing with the project. Yeah. Matt Padgett, he's a freelance for us. He wrote something on I think PC Gamer about it. Forget what it was. That would be really good. And then I wrote Okami in terms of like a Wii game that I think would be really good to come over, kind of like Zelda-ish, but also really stylistic.
Well, they announced that the remaster,
Yeah.
but they didn't include Switch on it.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
What is it? It's coming to what, Wii U?
What? No, PS4, Xbox One.
They just announced a general Okami HD.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. I would be surprised if that doesn't come to Switch eventually.
Yeah, well, yeah, it'd be surprising,
Yeah, that'd be
especially
weird.
considered I guess Platinum doesn't really like. Platinum is made up of ex-Clover people who made Okami, but they don't have.
Yeah.
So they don't own those rights. It's all Capcom.
What about Mass Effect?
I would play
Hell
Mass
yeah, I would
Effect
play
on
it all
Switch.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would absolutely play Mass Effect. on
Andromeda?
Switch. No.
Sorry. I hate kicking that game when it's dead.
When it's dead, not when it's down.
I would love
It's
to
dead.
play
I mean,
Mass
they
Effect.
pulled out of their
Yeah.
DLC plan. They're like, yeah,
Wait,
we can't-
actually?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
They said we're not going to make anything else for this game.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I missed that.
They're doing Anthem. They're doing something new in the Dragon Age franchise. Mike Laidlaw, the creative director, they were hiring people a while ago, and he said, yeah, we're doing something new, but we're not announcing what it is. Hopefully it makes up for Inquisition, a game that I had some fun with, but then did stop caring about after like 10 hours. Any other games from last gen we want to see?
Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah.
The what's the elevator pitch for that for people who might not know that Platinum collaboration?
It's a sort of hyper, very demanding action, like third-person combat game where you play a cybernetic ninja in the future. A character that not many people love from Metal Gear, but one that actually gets, I think, his best chance to shine.
Yeah, this is way after.
It is the last
2,
game
right?
in the timeline.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Because this is like when it's the whole military corporation ruling the world and all these different mercenary factions.
Yeah. PMCs.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting game. It was one of those things that Kojima was making internally, but not really running the project. He was having his younger staff do it. The game was not heard of for a while, and then Konami basically said, sorry, our younger employees don't know what they're doing, and we're going to pull this game. And then I think it was just a few days later, some short order after that, Platinum was like, don't worry, we got this. So Kojima worked with Platinum producers, and we ended up with this great game. It was really good. I mean, it's if you like Platinum's action, like from Bayonetta, this is a sort of interesting translation of that into the Metal Gear universe, and it's got some really cool fights. Like this whole system of chopping enemies apart and how well that works is surprising. And I wish I could have seen that in another game. But yeah, like that when you saw him sort of tear the spine out of that dude and crush it, like that's how you regain health from enemies you beat. And it's like such a
That's so cool.
I never use this word. Such a visceral experience. I mean, you're playing with robotic viscera and you feel that like impact. So I think I can use it.
I think you can. I give you a pass for that.
Yes.
I don't. Mr. B Fox on YouTube said this was also recently added to Xbox One backwards compatibility.
Oh, that's
nice.
great news.
Yeah.
I think this is also one of those games that was like ported to the NVIDIA Shield of all things, which is essentially the hardware that the Switch runs on. It's pretty much the same chipset, just a more efficient version of it. So
This game can get tough. I remember playing through it. It was really hard at some points.
Yeah, especially when you replay as Sam, who's like the main villain of the game. You can go through it again, and it's really tough with him.
Looking at Hellblade recently and like Heavenly Sword and whatnot, Ninja Theory, I'd love to see Devil May Cry come. Aren't they working
that would
on
be
something
perfect.
new? Yeah, that'd be really
Yeah,
good
yeah.
too. I loved the reboot. I didn't like, what's his name? Dante?
Yeah.
The new Dante?
No.
Is that still his name in the new one?
Yeah.
The reboot? Yeah. Devil May Cry DMC or whatever it's called, or vice versa.
DMC Devil May Cry.
That makes way more sense. I really like that game, and I would like to see that on Switch. Any like current gen? Well, a lot of people are mentioning the 3D Zeldas, or any like.
I would absolutely.
Oh God.
Replay like Majora's Mask 3D and what?
Oh, I'm just thinking.
Oh,
about
you don't need another
Ocarina-
400.
Ocarina of Time
hours
on
Zelda.
Switch would be great.
That'd be really. They will 100% bring Majora and Ocarina.
I need Twilight and Wind Waker though. I mean, those are ready.
I would love like
Yeah.
Wind Waker
Months-
HD. I mean like especially for Wind Waker and Majora's Mask in particular, those HD or I guess those remasters improved some things that weren't great that didn't work as well. Like the bosses are better in Majora's Mask 3D, and then you have the Swift Sail in Wind Waker HD. So I would love to play those again.
And then Ocarina and Majora's Mask both like remapped certain equipment items to the item screen, so you didn't have to keep
so
pausing and
nice.
everything.
And there were little small visual tweaks to Ocarina as well.
Yes, and Majora's Mask, as I know I get hyperbolic about Zelda games, but Majora's Mask is, if people ask, is my favorite game. And the 3D version, the 3DS version, they actually changed it so you could skip to certain times on the timeline rather than only like this day ahead, and every time you can save the game without having to go back to the beginning of the first day. It's a lot of big systemic overhauls.
Yeah. Oh, I love that game so much. I'm like right there with you. It's my favorite Zelda.
It's really good.
Stare down over here.
Oh my God.
Someone said Skyward Sword. I'd be interested to see if they could bring that to Switch without the motion controls. Because Skyward Sword and take Fee out. Fee's a cool character at first, but then she just starts telling you how to solve puzzles.
I haven't played it because I hate the art style, but I would give it a chance if it was on Switch.
You don't like it?
I hate the art style with
like
passion. I hate it.
It's like things that the draw distance doesn't pick up or whatever. It's like watercolor. That's a good description.
I hate how Link looks. I want to punch his dumb face. I hate it.
I love the flying.
I love Link. I love him so much, and I hate how they made him look in Skyward Sword.
Dang.
I really like the flying on the loft wings. And Link's got the red one. Everybody else has a purple one. That game is not fantastic in my opinion, but
Screw the intro to that game. It's like 2 hours of, have you ever played a video game before?
yeah. The rest of that game kind of does that too, though. With Fee, she's like,
Oh, but the intro is especially bad.
I don't remember it that much. Twilight Princess is really long.
Yeah, but no, this is like tutorializing controls. I'm not talking about introing the story.
This stick will move your character.
I mean,
Yeah.
more or less.
You mentioned like Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, which are on the Wii U, and I played through Wind Waker for like the third time ever, weirdly enough, because I played all those a lot. But me and Jake Decker, he had never played Twilight Princess, so we started playing through it on the Wii U. But if I had both those games on Switch, I would happily play through them again.
And Nintendo has a couple years ago, like they made a big deal about, we've got this new way to port games across platforms. put it to use. Let's see it. Go for it. Do it. I mean, they've kind of done it with Mario Kart and Pokemon Pokken Tournament.
Yeah.
What was the other one?
And
The other deluxe game.
Mario Kart, Smash. No, not
We don't know
Smash.
Smash yet.
I wish.
Was it just
Oh man, Smash needs to make it.
either way?
Mario
whatever.
Party. No, I'm kidding. The idea of having Twilight Princess or Wind Waker on there, as well as those Ocarina, Majora's Mask remasters, would be awesome. And then also getting all their online stuff. They're not the eShop. The getting all. What is it called? The ability to download old Nintendo games. What is it called?
Virtual Console.
Virtual Console. Thank you. Why'd you leave me hanging for so long? You didn't know what I was talking about.
I didn't know what you were talking about.
That would be great to have all those 2D Zeldas on the Switch tablet.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see Virtual Console the way that we saw it before as like a category or like a service that's like the individual games. I think Nintendo's going to try to sell these things as like little bundles of old games.
I'll buy them.
And they're going to do their subscription service, obviously, which they've mentioned. But I don't think we're going to see Virtual Console the way we knew it.
Any other games, franchises you'd like to see on Switch?
I'd like to see some Star Wars make it. Some Rogue Squadron, maybe.
Like old school, like GameCube Rogue Squadron? Was that GameCube PS2?
Yeah.
I actually never got into the GameCube Rogue Squadron, but I heard good things.
They were good.
Yeah.
There were two of them.
But even like a Knights of the Old Republic.
I was about to say that because that game looks like ass now, and I can't play it anymore. And I loved that game. And if they just made it look a little better, I'd play the shit out of it.
I think it was a year ago when they like had an update. It was like it's now in 4K, and it's like okay. Still looks really old.
Eduardo Lobato on the YouTube chat said Metroid Prime trilogy.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good pick.
That I would not be surprised to see with 4 kind of coming whenever. Metroid Prime. I love those games, especially the first and Corruption, the third one. Echoes is kind of punishing with its like shadows. Like you can't go into the shadows, or you have to like recharge in the sunlight or whatever it is. But I like those games a lot.
The first one is an all-time classic.
Yeah.
So every time I watch footage of that game, I just feel like I need to play this again right now.
It's kind of reminds me of what, I don't know, Nintendo did with Ocarina, like take this traditional franchise and implement 3D aspects to it, but in a way that just makes it unreal. I really like Metroid Prime, and I want to play that again. And hearing the music in Samus Returns like makes me nostalgic for that entire franchise.
Also, I'm just kind of realizing it. I mean, obviously Red Dead, but why not like a Grand Theft Auto?
Grand Theft Auto 5 I think would be easy to do.
Come
it's
on,
on
Rockstar.
It's on PS3 and 360, which are less powerful than a Switch.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
Feasibly,
if not,
Feasibly.
Yeah.
if not 5.4, you know, like
Nico Bellic.
before is kind of unlikely. That game had like a lot of weird ports that like didn't work very well. I think that code base is fucked, and they're probably happy
is that
to never
so?
work with it again.
okay.
I'm also happy that Nintendo's like loosening up on like adultish content. Like I feel
Drugs and boobies and violence.
Yeah, I mean I just like
It's my middle name.
Drugs and boobies and violence.
Yeah.
I like that. We've noted before that the commercials are geared towards adults, and so like clearly they're not trying to be like, oh, that's too that you can kill a prostitute. Don't do it. So yeah.
What about like Bully? That's been re-released on a few different platforms too,
That's
right?
True.
backwards compatible on Xbox. Yeah. Bully's fun.
Vice City.
Bully is a
Ooh,
fun one.
I got a good one. Ratchet and Clank.
That'd be awesome if Sony didn't.
Oh, I'm
have,
just
like,
throwing it out there.
exclusive.
Now
That'd be really
they're
good.
slowly rolling in these games. Yeah, you laugh it up.
No,
Sorry, I
Sony
just-
would not.
I'm laughing at Mike's response. Just yes, Sony would.
Oh, what? That's a Sony exclusive.
Yeah.
I'm dumb. I was
Someone's-
gonna mention like
It's a good idea. I'd fucking play it.
I don't know. What about?
They seem-
is
they
that
seem
that
good.
What about God
impossible?
of War?
Is it that impossible? Would it be that impossible though?
Yeah, Sony
Yeah,
wouldn't
Insomniac's
really.
Sony
been
would-
under
what about,
Sony
like, a
for so
Halo?
long.
Could you see that?
No.
No.
Not at all. Not
Now
like an older
you're
one?
just like someone mentioned Ori 2 on
I
the
can see
Twitch
Phil
chat,
Spencer
that's
being
awesome.
like, yeah, all right.
I could.
What do I gotta
would
lose?
Love
Yeah,
to, yeah.
Reach. Yeah, take Reach. That's cool.
Reach.
Just specifically Reach. Nothing else from Halo.
I see him all at table playing cards. Like, all right.
That'd be really funny. Phil Spencer ran out of money, so he bet.
Here's a
like, his
Reach. What do you got for
exclusive- He bet the Halo franchise when his friend went all in. And fucking Andrew House
was a
just
late
bet
night.
everything else. Oh my god. Yeah, that would be great, Rob.
right,
Let's
well, I
move
guess
on from
I'll
this. Cool.
Reach.
Destiny 2. We've been playing a lot more of it. We're kind of getting to post-game stuff, doing some milestones every week. They reset every week.
The milestones, are part of the weekly reset, and then there's a daily challenge reset. That's like each planet has its own set of 3 challenges, and you get like planet tokens, which you can redeem for
with Ikora
prizes.
Is that her?
No, you can. I think you just get them automatically, but like you get if you complete the Nessus challenges, for example, you get Nessus tokens, and you go to Failsafe, and she gives you gear.
For the most part, I feel like they're always in a loot chest, right? Those tokens, not Nessus coins. But like
the tokens.
The tokens.
The tokens are often in loot chests, or as a drop from like a high level enemy. But anyway, late. We're doing the post game stuff. A lot of us, except Peter, who hasn't finished the story.
No, but I'm 20, so yeah. I want to avoid story missions as much as possible.
Yeah,
I like them. It's a mix of many factors.
I heard you talking about it, and I was trying to avoid the conversation because I was like, I don't want to. I have to write about these later.
Have your own opinion.
But I mean, like that's the thing is like the story missions are sort of like you get through them, and then you go on to like the actual game. I don't know how great that is as a
like
design.
A means to an end.
I feel like a lot of games employ that. For me, the story missions provide just enough context to make me feel like, okay, what I'm doing actually makes sense, which I didn't have in the first game, where it was almost like I had to have other people tell me what we were doing and why. Whereas this game, I feel much more like, oh, it's kind of laid out a lot better for me.
Sure.
So I don't need it to be like brilliant. And the story's super basic, and the enemy is, like a very typical villain, and it's, it's a very basic thing. But there's like a Warthog Run style level, and there's cool stuff. They mix it up. And,
that stuff's good.
Yeah.
It's the other missions where it feels like, okay, you're setting out with like a goal in mind. Say you got to restore power to this thing. Okay, so to do that, you got to do this one thing. So you go there, you complete that task. Damn, it didn't work like you thought it had to. So now you have to go do something else. And turns out, you don't do just one of those. You got to do like 4 of them. And it feels, I forget who I was talking to yesterday. I think it was you. Like every mission always needs a plan like B and C and D, because it's never just like a simple proposition and then you take care of it. And so that gets a little tiring for me.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the game, like I never trust what the game is telling me. I never trust that like what I'm doing is actually going to achieve the goal that everyone wants it to.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks. And then Rob, I was talking to you this morning about the idea that one of the missions wants you to be level 15. And it's like, well, that's an easy way to pad out the story, is to put a level cap on a mission. How does that make any sense in the context of, our version of playing the game, right? Like within the world itself, why do levels have any bearing on anybody? That's not a thing anyone ever talks about.
Yeah.
You could argue it is forcing you to play the side stuff, explore, because I was, like you, inclined to like, I want to knock out the story, right? Like any kind of game, even Halo, right? I got to beat the campaign before I dive into anything else.
Yeah.
But here it's, that's a core part of the game, is exploring and doing side quests. So maybe that's by means of reassuring themselves that like you'll have that idea that that's something that you need to do.
I mean,
that's a good point.
To me, it's a cheap way of making the game seem making the story seem more interesting than it is. Like not even more interesting, but like it distracts you from realizing how simple and straightforward it is, because it distracts you and tells you to go do something else, rather than letting you actually, like if you went through those missions one by one, which I was taking breaks to go do adventures, to go do public events. But if I was to go through the missions one by one, I would be even more mad about the story as it is. So like I don't see the excuse of that being a good thing that they make you go out. That doesn't help the story be any better. Because I can already do that stuff if I want to. Like the story should make me want to keep going through it for the sake of itself.
I always thought those level requirements were just because the difficulty would be too high for someone.
They scale everything else in the game.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they scale those missions? If they can scale outside of that, I don't see why they can't do it there. And that's just covering up the fact that there's not an interesting story to tell by making it about the difficulty rather than actually like what you're doing.
Especially if they're like single player, like they're separate from like the open world, right? Like,
yeah.
Do you guys have like favorite subclasses or anything? Yeah, like Callie, how many have you played for your hunter?
I played all of them, and lately I've been really liking the new subclass Arc Strider.
That's with the bow staff, right?
Yeah, that's the bow staff one. I really like it. I used to pretty much exclusively do Night Stalker, which is the one with the bow and arrow and the void. But Arc Strider has been helping me get through like waves of enemies, and it helped a lot for last week's Nightfall. So I've been doing that, and also all of my gear is for Arc, so it works out that way. But there it is. Wow, that was really fast.
Buffing your Arc damage.
Being surrounded with that engaged is so fun, just to go back and forth, like connecting. It feels really fluid, like the Arc Strider. I really do dig it.
It does. But like again, that's Night Stalker. But really quickly going back to the story stuff, I do really like Destiny's lore. I know a lot of people think it can be pretty stupid, but there's cool stuff there. There's interesting things between the different races. Like I really find the Vex very interesting. And I do like that the story gives more context to those things as well. But like that's the thing is like you finish the story and then you have 100 more hours plus of things you can do. And it's really just like a way to set up, okay, here's why you're doing the rest of the actual cool stuff. And I agree that that's like not a great way to get you to keep playing, and that is frustrating. And I don't think it's particularly like well written or anything, but also I think it serves its purpose. So I'm of a weird mind about it, and it's really difficult to evaluate on that because I'm like, well, that's not why I play Destiny.
Right.
Yeah.
But also, like, I can't just give them a pass for having, like, that level cap thing that's kind of lazy. You know what I mean?
Have you been liking getting, like, exotic weapons? I saw you got Rat King the other night.
I did. Oh, that was awesome. That was so cool. That's the thing is, like, that was... I mean, they've called Destiny 1 a platform, and they meant, like, a platform to add more content to. But for me, it's also a platform to do the things that you want to do and make it your own. And so for Rat King, I don't even plan to use that weapon. So if you don't know, Rat King is like a sidearm. It stacks the more people in your fire team have it, so it gets more powerful if everybody has it. And you have to complete a Nightfall with 5 minutes remaining, which is pretty challenging. And it took so many tries. I mean, we were doing it for like 2 hours, and when we finally got it, it was like, I don't even want to use this weapon, but I did it, and I had such a good time working together with my team and like figuring out the best way to do this. And it was really rewarding. It's like I'm never gonna actually really use that weapon. It's not good for PvP. Like I don't need it, but the process of getting it was so awesome.
It stacks when people have it equipped, or just
yeah.
Okay.
So like if you and I went into a fire team, we would have 2 times power, and I think increased reload speed or something like that.
Is that when the weapons
were using it?
with a secondary, it reloads when you get kills?
Yeah,
Is that one?
No, that's Sturm
That's like
and
in
Drang.
Yeah. Okay.
Which apparently is the name of a Finnish metal band.
Sturm Drang?
Sturm und Drang or something. Somebody tweeted that at me. I don't know if that's true. I thought it was like a Durmstrang reference from Harry Potter.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, Chrome catches the snitch.
All over my head. I like it though. It sounds cool.
What's the other one? Bobaton?
Bobaton.
French school.
Yeah.
Durmstrang, Bobaton, Hogwarts.
Boba Tea
the
reference.
Tri-Wizard tournament.
Oh, I went there.
To Bobaton?
You went to Bobaton?
Fleur? What was
Fleur
it?
de la
Fleur
Cour.
de la Cour.
That's right.
She's hot.
She's a Vila.
Yeah.
Is that like
Which means, well, she's half Vila, and Vila are like basically sirens. Anyway, let's not talk about Harry Potter right now.
Any other, like, your review will be up in the coming days at some point. You're doing the raid today, so obviously you didn't want to have a final thought on it yet.
Doing the raid today. I think we're aiming for Friday for the final review. I do have a daily review diary that I closed out going into the raid if you want to check out my impressions thus far.
Mm-hmm. And it's a good example of just sort of a more personal take on your experience as well. Like, reviews can be a little bit formal, but you've been able to sort of inject more of a, all right, down and dirty business. Here's the real deal.
Yeah. And it's nice because like I really enjoy Destiny, and I acknowledge that there's things that I think are like technically wrong with it. It's a very tricky game to review, and I've always struggled with this with Destiny. But it was cool to do like a daily, like here's what I did, and it was really freaking cool, or it was really frustrating, or whatever it is. So.
Accidentally mantled all of my shards or something like that, right? Dismantled, excuse me. Mantled. You can mantle shards.
You can mantle in this game now.
Just vaulting over them?
I got crushed by a Cabal lander. Like I was standing and it fucking fell on me.
We did the Nightfall, streamed it, Eric, Tay, and I, and Aaron, and that happened to Tay like twice in a row. We like wiped and started again. And I was just chasing Tay, trying to keep up with him. And yeah, sure enough, Cabal transport, just bam.
Yeah.
It happened twice in a row. And it happened to me once. It's not cool.
It's hilarious, and I definitely
is this
was like,
it? Did he pull
PlayStation, can you please...
I want to say it's around here, but we'll see.
It was around here. So this is, Tay and I yesterday, this was my first attempt at we ended up doing it in the end. It was pretty, I think it was like, how many times did we do it, Tay? It was like 6 times we had to wipe, and a couple of them were actually due to bugs, which was unfortunate. Like a waypoint never got engaged.
Oh,
so we
weird.
that happened once. Aaron was in the other room playing, and he said like, the platform he was on like just disappeared and he couldn't spawn. And then and if you know about the Nightfall, so you're like trying to like beat the time on the strikes.
You have I think it starts at 11 minutes the clock, and there's certain things you can do to increase the time you have for this Nightfall it was to jump through those rings that you saw.
Oh, so that changes.
That changes. So for last week's it was killing enemies at a time.
Got it.
But it's challenging, and it's just really fun to do with like the right group of people.
Oh, totally. I had a fun time with it. Like the main challenge is that you have the 3 types of elements associated with your class, powers as well as weapons, and orchestrating with your team. Basically, it shifts around. So if it's on arc only
does double damage,
and everything else
does half.
Yeah. So you want to use the correct element. So it's fun to like switch around, and ideally you want all your subclasses to be different so that everyone can use their super on like the boss at the right time.
Yeah. So I played with Ben, Jenka, and John Luke. And we were just being like, okay, well, before we go in, who has a void energy, who has the arc, who has the solar, and we like coordinated it all. So everybody had access to everything at any time, and we were calling it out like we were like it was really intense. We'd be like, all right, bye, Rip.
I remember that.
Rest in peace.
Eric was exhausted that day.
We were calling it out like, all right, it's void. I'm going in. Like, and it got really intense, and it was just it's a lot of fun, and that's the stuff that you're working towards in Destiny, and those are the super rewarding things. And I never really had that with one for a multitude of reasons. So I'm really enjoying that this time around for sure.
Overall, I think it's a general consensus that they have improved a lot since even like Taken King and Rise of Iron was not much at all. That was kind of an incremental thing after Taken King's big expansion, but overall it seems like they've improved a lot. Yeah,
it's a big improvement on Destiny 1. I don't think that if you didn't like the basic fundamentals of Destiny 1 that you would be like converted by Destiny 2 necessarily. It's very similar in formula, but there's small enough changes throughout that make it a much better experience. If that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. Like I wouldn't say like, this is so big of an improvement that's going to convert people who didn't even like the fundamentals of Destiny 1. I wouldn't go so far as to say that, but it is such a good improvement on so many different levels of the game that I'm really enjoying it.
And sorry, what?
I was gonna say, I can't remember it. What's the Warlock's third arc ability, or what's that subclass called?
Stormcaller?
Yes. That's been my favorite so
Emperor
far.
Palpatine
status. But like when you engage it, you kind of hover, and the character design is cool. Where I like to imagine that there's
unlimited power.
But the design, if you look at the character, I feel like his or her back is like cricker, like the spine is just curved, and you're just going around like, activate scoliosis. This hurts. But it's fun. So like you like can chain electricity through all these. Oh man, to wipe out like just a herd of Thrall is just gratifying. Like I got this. That's all I wanted to say.
I've been playing the Sentinel Titan,
the
shield one. It's really fun.
The shield one's pretty cool. Yeah.
It's like Captain America mixed with Wonder Woman. But also Athena from Borderlands, the pre-sequel, had a very similar class. She was a very similar class. I don't know how much they took from that, but
what class are you, Peter?
So I've got a Warlock. It's 20. I've got a Hunter. That's 8 or 9. I kind of want to start a Titan because I didn't play Destiny 1. This is my first time really getting into the series, so I feel like I want to get all the classes under my belt. Mm-hmm. And there's some eccentricities about the Warlock that I'm not in love with.
The jumping is so weird on Warlocks.
The jumping is weird. I kind of like it. I don't know. I get weird about like what my character looks like. for some reason. I'm very much into like identifying with like cool looking gear and like the hunter having the hood. I'm like, okay, there's no like cool silhouette for the head, so I don't like the way they look. But also the warlock has like, you know, lots of like drapey things going on, and like there's no way to like not have that.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I feel like I'm stuck into that, and that's fine. It's not as bad as the hunter. But the Titan seems like an interesting mix. But then I see like really weird Titans. I see like the weirdest Titans that are like this wide.
You seen
for
Ben
no
Janka's?
reason. No.
Ben
He's
has
got a
like
bomb-ass
tentacles.
Titan.
He
Yeah.
has like a sick Titan. He has like
Cool.
weird
It's got, like
glowing
purple
tentacles.
glowing
Yeah.
horns on
Yeah.
his shoulders.
I've seen like more variety among that class than any other one. So I feel like that coupled with its sort of more, you know, more tankish like elements, that might be a nice change of pace. Whether or not I stick with that long term, I don't know. But
Yeah.
I'm curious to sort of keep myself engaged with the game. If doing that will help me feel like rejuvenated. Again, I just got to 20, so I'm like, I haven't gotten an exotic yet. I just opened my first engrams and stuff today, and it's like I'm still new to all of that. So
Yeah.
I've still got a long ways to go before I've really experienced Destiny, I feel like.
Yeah.
And Titan's part of that as well.
Titans have been frustrating. I mean, Titans are cool. I definitely want to start a Titan class, but like in PvP.
I think you'd really like Titan.
Oh yeah, I
Like-
played when I played the small amount of Destiny 1. I was definitely rocking Titan.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of cool moves, and I think that like transition really well into PvP. Like, I swear, there's so many times where I'm like holding a point in some objective based mode, and I see a Titan like a mile away, and I know what he's gonna do. And he just comes sprinting in, does that shoulder check, but I'm
Yeah.
trying to
Oh,
like
the shield bash.
Yeah, I'm just trying to like hold the flag, just hose him down. He's like, I'm coming.
Yeah, as a warlock,
A linebacker.
in PvP, I get my ass kicked.
Oh yeah.
I get rocked. Maybe I suck. That's very much likely the case, but also I feel like at a disadvantage compared to hunters who have the melee and titans who have the shield.
What's the warlock class subclass? Void? No, that's hunter. Voidwalker. That's the bow and arrow.
Night Stalker.
What's Voidwalker? That's the bow staff.
I think
There's a Stormcaller for Warlock. Is it Voidcaller for
I think
Warlock?
Voidcaller
That's
is
like
Warlock.
apparently in the meta for the game right now. That's the most powerful subclass.
Oh, really?
The damage that does.
Jake and I have been calling Night Stalker night crawlers.
I don't ever play Nightcrawlers anymore, Frank. Sounds like you crawl
It's
around like
Voidwalker.
worms in the night.
Void Blocker?
Void
Void
Walker.
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 Yeah.
Voidwalker. That's what I said.
Space
right?
magic.
Walk in the void.
Void walking.
I don't play Warlock.
walking.
I'm like anti-Warlock over here. I really can't. I'm not like anti other people being Warlock, but I like refuse to make a Warlock. I probably will eventually because I've been really like itching to like make a new character, which I haven't done yet because I've been focused on the review. But like,
Dawnblade's pretty sweet. You have that like ability to.
you can just like shoot fire out of it, right?
Yeah, but like you have that the series of abilities where like you can. It's basically like high. Like you basically play. Like the lift and glide, but you can continually fire while gliding, which is pretty sweet to do that, like around an enemy or something like that. Like always be mobile and shit. So it's cool.
Anyway, Destiny 2, your full review will be up in the coming days, but you can go read like your daily review diaries about your experiences so far, and
a review in
review
progress,
is
as well.
up. We'll have more on the raid later today once you guys all start it from 1, probably until the end of the workday, I would imagine.
Until Tay leaves at 7.
Yes, and I do want to get to Metroid because now, Pete, your review is fully up. A lot of people looking around at other reviews all agree this is kind of what a lot of people have been asking for a long time, the return of 2D Metroid in a time when Metroidvanias come out all the time now. There's been some great ones this year. There's Hollow Knight, there's Dead Cells, the early access game. If you want to look back a few years, Ori and the Blind Forest. There's Axiom Verge, which is very much a classic one.
And coming to Switch.
And coming to Switch. That one, that's another game that seems tailor-made for it. That makes sense. But I want to talk about Metroid Samus Returns, the reimagining of Metroid 2 Return of Samus.
Yeah, we talked a bunch about it last week. I don't really remember everything we touched on, but the rumors are true. The game is great. It's very, very good.
Superb, you might say.
I would say superb. In fact, I did. It's so what we have is, I'll just sort of run down the basics again. It's a reimagining of Metroid 2. Where essentially, Samus is sent to SR-388 to get rid of Metroids because they're a threat. Because if the space pirates get them, they're going to use them and take over the galaxy. So you get down there and you try to do that, and you're basically trying to hunt down the last remaining Metroids. And if this game has been out for a while, and even if you've played Super Metroid, you know what happens at the end of this game. Samus does a thing which defies good judgment.
Idiot.
Yeah, and kind of goes against her mission. Which is, it makes this game a really pivotal part in the series. It sort of is the dividing line between, Metroid Prime and Metroid, and then Super Metroid and Fusion and all the stuff after that. Maybe I'm screwing up that timeline. I hope not. The great thing though, it's got a brand new map, which does change the flow of the game quite a bit. But it's also allowed them to adopt a similar exploration that you'd find in Super Metroid or Fusion or Zero Mission, which is you have this map, you have lots of doors that are blocked off by certain weapons, and you make progress throughout the map at large based on the equipment you have, and you use that to access new areas as you get it. Now, in the past, coupled with that was the idea that you were hunting for hidden items in your environment, and it would take a lot of trial and error to kind of find those things. But this game, you now have a scan pulse ability, which will essentially allow you to analyze your environment and pinpoint where these items are. Hey, you're saying, that sounds like it robs me of the experience of discovery and stuff. Well, it robs you maybe of the experience of discovery, but actually getting the items is more difficult because you have to perform on a more regular basis sort of complex puzzles that will then net you the items that you locate.
I really like it. It makes it less like just randomly shooting at different parts of the wall and doing power bombs here and there.
Work smarter, not harder.
You know where it is. It's more like a treasure hunt. How do I get to it? Like, how do I get to that X? And it has made me like the backtracking and exploration more than I thought I would.
Yeah, and it has teleportation. Teleporters, that's a first for the series as far as I'm aware, and that helps quite a bit. The other influence we got is from Mercury Steam, the company who made this with Nintendo, did a lot of the development. They made this a more action-oriented game, and that kind of works to the game's favor because the change up to exploring environments, changing up combat is something that the series has kind of always needed. It used to be like a slower sort of combat experience where enemies wouldn't necessarily charge at you all the time. They'd be nearby. Maybe they'd drop from a ceiling at you. But in this game, most of them charge at you the moment they see you. And you have to learn how to parry and stop them, which is strange at first. But once you get a hang of it, Samus feels way more physical and powerful than she ever really has before. It's not just her gun doing the work. It's her hitting away these enemies. It's her kind of dealing that damage.
I was watching some of our footage, and I was watching Jean-Luc's footage. He's doing a history of 2D Metroid video, I think, at some point, maybe later this week or next week. Don't quote me on that.
This move that you guys just saw, very contentious.
Oh, that's what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
That was kind of a...
That's related to the one thing I don't like about this game.
I'll get to that in a second. It seems to me like watching Super Metroid footage and watching on YouTube, I haven't played it in a long time. I know you recently played it. Do you feel like there are a lot more enemies in this, per room? I feel like Super Metroid, there was a decent amount of them, but I feel like I ran into them not as frequently.
I will say this game it doesn't have as broad of a range of enemies as the other games, but it definitely mixes and matches them on a more regular basis and in ways that grow increasingly difficult to contend with. A lot of times in Super Metroid, it'd be maybe one type of enemy per room, maybe two, but they'd be easily avoided. So it definitely feels like there's more in this, I think, because they rush at you because you can't just ignore them.
Yeah.
But also, yes, I think they lack variety in enemy design, but they certainly use the enemies in more interesting ways.
Yeah.
In larger numbers.
The one thing you don't like, you mentioned, it kind of defies logic.
Yeah.
We kind of just saw it, but...
Yeah. So basically every item you get in this game, it's described, in your inventory, okay, here's what you can do with it. And when you get a new gun or something, it's okay, you can open these doors with it. So, you have all that. You have the ability to locate everything in your environment. So you're given a lot of info, and you're forced to use that info in clever ways, which is one of the great things about the game. But when you're nearing 100% and you realize, oh yeah, there's some items hidden behind these paths that are just covered in red crystals, that there's no physical way to touch and get by them. You have to literally avoid them. Well, how do you do that? Well, you're not going to figure it out by reading the descriptions in your inventory. You're not going to find it out by reading the manual. Essentially, the way that you do it is the only thing in the game that is not described to you, and it uses a behavior inconsistently. So if you drop a regular bomb when you're in a morph ball, Samus's ball will pop up, right? If you lay a power bomb, she will not pop up when in morph ball mode, except if you're using her spider ball, which allows her to attach to a wall or a ceiling, defying gravity. Then the power bomb will send her flying, which is opposite logic. You would think if you weren't tethered to something, the bomb would send you flying. It doesn't send you anywhere at all, period. That's what makes it even worse. It's that when you try it, you think, oh, the power bomb will never send me anywhere. Because if it was ever going to, it would here. No, you have to hold on to the wall and let it do it.
Yeah.
And again, you have to figure that out on your own. And I had to actually like work with people who are also playing the game to figure it out. But it kind of bothered me for days, and it made me really kind of frustrated because everything else about this game is really, really good.
I mentioned to you the only way I can see that being a thing, it's like, oh, you've got this immovable thing stuck to the wall, and then you have this unstoppable bomb.
Right,
So it's like crossing the streams, so to say. I
yeah,
guess. I don't know.
But if you see the regular bomb do it, why wouldn't the power bomb do it?
Yeah.
Without using that spider ball.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no two ways about it. Like that's inconsistent. So, it's too bad. Great game though.
Where does this fall, do you think, on the list of Metroid games?
Oh, that's very difficult. I haven't played Fusion or Zero Mission in a long time. So I was helping Jean-Luc by pretty much giving him like all my Metroid stuff for his shoot. And I played a minute of Zero Mission, and I was like, damn, I don't remember this game being like, because it was like the save at the end of the game, and I was like, I don't remember being this powerful in this game. Like, this is kind of cool. But I will say that it's certainly not one that I would put towards the bottom.
Yeah.
The fact that I have to consider, like it's better than Super Metroid in some ways. I think, personally speaking, I prefer Super Metroid's horror elements. I think that works better with the isolation and the fact that, look, this series is modeled after Alien. That feels like an Alien game more than something like this, but I'm okay with that.
The soundtrack in Super Metroid definitely lends itself more to that like horror mystery than I would say Samus Returns does.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I bring this up often, but the title screen alone has bleeding corpses on it in Super Metroid. You don't really see that in this game.
Yeah, it does.
But that's super bold. That's a really bold way to sort of set the scene. I think this is an excellent example of what they should continue to do with the series alongside whatever they do with Prime. I have hopes this will come out on Switch because it was made on the Mercury engine, which was used to port Mirror of Fate HD, another Mercury Steam game from 3DS to other platforms like PlayStation and Xbox. So there's potential there, and of course Nintendo's tools that I talked about earlier.
You're optimistic about seeing more 2D
I'm
Metroids?
very optimistic about seeing more 2D Metroids. Yoshio Sakamoto, the producer at Nintendo who worked with Mercury Steam, said in an interview with Game Informer, they pitched a remake of Fusion. We said no, remake this.
Sorry, to cut you off, Fusion is the Game Boy Advanced game.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm getting them straight in my
No
head.
worries.
Because I like that game a lot, but I always forget which one was on the GBA.
And if I remember correctly, Fusion is the last one in the timeline. So Mercury Steam wants to remake that, and Sakamoto also said, if this sells, we want to make more 2D Metroids. I mean, he made it pretty clear. Like, it's not like this is just a one-off for the 3DS owners. They're like, no, we're trying to start some things. And it's not surprising they tried on 3DS first because low development cost compared to something like Switch.
That makes sense. I'm glad they partnered with Mercury Steam because I played Mirror of Fate, the Castlevania game. They also did Lords of Shadow 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And Mirror of Fate was all right, but it wasn't anything spectacular compared to Metroid Samus Returns, especially.
Sure. Best story in the Castlevania series, I think, but
I don't remember it.
Oh, that's too bad. But it has a lot to do with like who is Dracula.
Oh,
really,
okay, yeah,
stuff like that.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I was mentioning earlier, you have like Hollow Knight, you have Dead Cells, you have Axiom Verge in recent years. So many of these games are coming out trying to. Game design can be cyclical, so like Metroidvanias are kind of coming back into fashion now, and I'm glad to see like Nintendo coming out and proving, we can still do it too. Nintendo, like partnering with Mercury Steam, but still a lot of Nintendo is on this project.
Definitely.
And I'm optimistic about that. Are you guys gonna play this? You two gonna play this?
I
forget we were here.
I blacked out.
Sorry, I blacked out.
Hell yeah. I mean, I don't have a 3DS, but
You don't have a 3DS?
no.
Aww.
Maybe I'll borrow one in the office. It's been tough to get any kind of play with it. Everyone's like, there's like a queue straight up for like this game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sounds awesome. Excuse me, awesome.
It is fantastic. I like it a lot.
Yeah. I don't have a lot of experience with Metroidvanias, so I'm a little nervous about that. Like, I feel like I might be more easily frustrated because my vocabulary with those kinds of games is pretty limited, I think. But I still want to check it out. I think, but I don't know. Like, should I start with a different? Like, I haven't played Super Metroid. Like, I feel like I should play Super Metroid.
That's a tough one. I feel like this is the most accessible.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Really?
I would if as an intro to the series, I would say this is
That's true.
better than
Yeah.
Super Metroid.
It's also the direct prequel, so the events lead right into Super Metroid.
Really?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh,
Super Metroid on Switch would be dope.
I wish.
It's on the SNES Classic though, right? Isn't it?
Super Metroid, yep.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Oh yeah, that'll be a good.
Get prepped for that.
Yeah. What else? I mean, SNES Classic. We talked about it a lot, but yeah, Super Metroid. I'm pumped to play. Secret of Mana. Link to the Past. Mega Man X.
almost every game on the Super Nintendo Classic is worthy of replaying.
Good, minus Chrono Trigger, of course. Wish that was there.
Rip.
Yeah. Any final Metroid Samus Returns thoughts?
Selfishly, please buy this game because I want more.
Yeah.
So
That'd be great.
More of these. And I look forward to replaying it. I guess I will also say there's some amiibo stuff. The fusion suit is locked to amiibo. You can only use it after beating the game. You do unlock a hard mode after beating the game anyways, so there's still a more challenging difficult. And I haven't seen the fusion suit actually lead to any different capabilities. I think it might just be a retinkering of the difficulty and cosmetics. It is too bad it's stuck to the amiibo because it's on the cart.
Yeah. But that squishy amiibo is so cute.
The amiibo are great as toys, yeah. The content locked to them is maybe a little troublesome.
No, I agree.
It's squishy?
It's squishy.
Yeah.
It's like hollow and
hollow inside.
Yeah. The Metroid's really good.
Probably be able to talk about it next week. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Yeah, I think
Joey's been playing it. Can't talk about it yet.
Embargo is the 19th, I think.
I don't even know.
We're streaming it tomorrow.
They're streaming it tomorrow.
Okay.
It's only
11 a.m.
Well, that brings me to my last point before I talk about the giveaway. Like I said, we stream pretty much every day at 11 a.m. Pacific. So tomorrow, I guess Eric Tay and Joey, I'm assuming, are going to be playing Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I always get those like subtitles mixed up. Yeah. But then we'll also have a lot of Destiny stuff coming out. Hopefully the raid goes well when they start in about an hour. And then we'll keep you all updated on that.
Oh, and the Nintendo Direct is today.
Oh, yeah. What time is that at?
3 o'clock.
Nintendo Direct is at 3 o'clock. Oh, yeah. Actually,
Pacific.
Do we have like...
Specifically.
Do we have predictions? We know what we're going to see? Is there like a general...
There's going to be some Mario Odyssey stuff. I think they're probably going to announce an Odyssey Switch bundle. I think now's the right time for them to announce that for the holidays. I'm hoping another like Wii U port announcement. I think that'd be cool. If they announced Smash, that'd be a pretty big deal.
Oh, man.
That'd be dank.
Yeah, I think...
with like a new character or a few?
Sure.
Who'd be good? A Metroid?
Just
a Guardian from Breath of the Wild just wrecking everyone.
Oh, Breath of the Wild character.
Dang.
Oh my god. Imagine like what are their names? Like Mifa and Rivali. Ooh, Rivali would be a dope character.
So you could just do his voice?
Oh man. Rob, you want to pipe in, don't you?
Rivali's game is now here.
One more random thought. Nintendo updated the Switch app, so you no longer have to keep your phone unlocked to chat with your friends.
Nice.
Oh.
You can let your phone sleep.
Don't know how
Sweet.
that was an oversight to begin with, but okay.
Sweet.
Yeah. Nintendo's fixing a lot of its mistakes. Let's just hope it's not a
They're
fluke.
doing well.
Yeah.
Hopefully it continues into next year, which SNES Classic and NES coming back are a good start. Cool. That was our show. Got a giveaway. This is actually cool because it was originally just North America, but we have Pez 2018 and a Pez fidget spinner.
Fidget spinners.
This is good for PS4. This is good in the UK and US. I feel like it's got a big audience in the UK. We are going to be tweeting that out right now, pretty much. Shiva, who manages our Twitter account, will be tweeting that out from the GameSpot account. If you don't follow us, go do so and retweet that, and we will pick the winners Saturday.
And spin, fidgeters.
I'm so happy you didn't tell me about this before we came in here. That's hilarious.
Yeah. How did those things happen?
That's a whole can of worms.
Like, I know I'm
That's
late.
another
I know I'm
story.
late.
The lady who like started
why?
them didn't patent them, so like everybody made money off them. But it was just originally someone who
I think
started
it was originally for like ADHD.
Yeah, oh, totally.
Yeah.
And initially it was like a cube that had a bunch of weird.
Oh, the
different
fidget
things.
cubes are cool. You can like press all the buttons.
My dad actually sent me one of those because he's like 70 and he was diagnosed with ADHD just last year.
Really?
And it explains so many things.
I can't imagine
Look
being.
what you have done, Rob.
Imagine being a middle school teacher just losing your mind. It was like when I was middle school. It was tech decks.
Shiva just goes, I'm sorry.
Tech decks. My friend's a teacher and she's subbing right now, and the teacher had a tech deck on their desk, and I was like,
She's like, I'm into it.
Just
Someone
ollie
still
her
has
way
it.
into class.
yeah.
Or my God, when they tried to do the razor scooter once.
Do you
remember that?
Yeah. I just ended up taping it to my fingers. I could do sick tricks.
I think once they did the razor scooter, it was like, okay, we're done.
Yeah,
Like,
we're
and
done.
everyone lost them and moved on.
I want a tech deck now.
So if you want the fidget spinner and Pez 2018, which is out as of yesterday, you can go to GameSpot or our Twitter account and check out the link, and we'll pick winners for in the UK or US on Saturday. Thank you. That's pretty much our show.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
This has been a show.
How did fidget spinners
Video games
shart?
are good right now.
Start. I just had to shart. I'm tired as hell. All right, we'll be back next week as always, Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific. I might not be here. I don't know yet. Might be doing a video shoot somewhere. Should be a pretty cool project, but it's kind of becoming a last-minute thing.
Well, I'm not going to be here, so I ain't hosting.
Ooh! Oh yeah, you're going to Tokyo.
Tokyo Game Show.
Tokyo Game Show.
TGX.
Are you excited?
Oh, sorry, Kelly.
You're excited. Are you still laughing that I said shart?
No, I'm crying because I want to go to Tokyo.
Oh.
I am excited. I feel incredibly guilty, so I will not have any fun.
Oh.
No, it'll be good. It's not really clear like what the big thing is going to be at the show, so we have our work cut out for us to identify that.
Yeah. You get to? Can you talk about any like studios you're visiting or people you're going to talk to while you're there?
We'll be talking to Shinji Mikami.
That's awesome.
We'll be talking to.
He started Halo, Rob.
He's the one porting Reach to the Switch.
I should be interviewing the head of Sonic Team, Iizuka-san.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Can you bring back green tea Kit Kats?
That's the easiest of the Kit Kats to attain. Yes.
Oh, can you bring back sake Kit Kats?
You can just buy those at Japantown.
Yeah,
But I want authentic. I want Peter to go on an errand
Same
for me.
thing.
I'll get him at the airport. Don't worry.
All right. Well, you'll be in Tokyo. I might be out of town, so I'll just let you two figure out the show.
Me and Rob just being like, so how about that Halo?
Yeah.
Halo on the Switch.
Sweet.
All right, everybody, thank you for joining, whether it's on YouTube or Twitch or GameSpot. We love having you. As always, get your questions in. Yeah, you shut that for me. And we'll be back next week, or some of us will at least, 11 a.m. Pacific. Thanks for joining. We'll see you then.